Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update with, of course, yours truly. We're going to start the video off in a rather interesting area, and we're going to use a chart, a stablecoin dominance chart, to predict that essentially the overall cryptocurrency space, if the dominance of this specific stablecoin gets to where we think it's going, with the current market cap that it has, could be worth around about $13 trillion. Now, that's interesting. So we're going to be starting the video off there. We've not seen anybody else do any kind of work on this. And this is the beautiful thing about being a technical analyst. You'll get an insight into markets like nowhere else other than through sort of technically analysing a chart. But we'll start the video off there. And then we're going to get into some news. We've got some news, obviously, in regards to the World Liberty Project, which is owned by the Trump family. They bought a number of altcoins. We'll look at what altcoins they bought. Obviously, of course, to get a little bit of bad news out the way, Microsoft have rejected, with 0.5% actually taking part in the vote, the referendum. I don't know if that's the word or the kind of thing that was put forward to the shareholders about them essentially buying Bitcoin, and it did look rather unlikely from the jump. So a lot to get into. Let's start things off as promised with a chart that potentially is dictating that the overall cryptocurrency market may be worth around about $13 trillion. Now, the beautiful thing about USDT dominance, USDT, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is the third largest market cap in the space. It sits at $139 billion and is likely going to grow. I think there is going to be a bit of a war against USDC as we see the likes of American-backed stablecoin companies, ones that are within America, look to rival it for market share. However, I think the industry grows as a whole and they just grow faster. I don't think Tether diminishes, and actually the US is unlikely to attack Tether due to the fact that they hold treasuries and they're becoming a large buyer of treasuries. I released or put on Twitter today something that may be worth us exploring. This is the Microsoft news, by the way, just very quickly. But if I go over to my profile, this was from a report. I think it was Sigmund Bank. Not everybody can access the report, but this was a piece that says the US in particular sees dollar stablecoins as a means for reasserting dollar dominance globally, while stablecoins backed by fiat reserves create demand for treasury bonds as government debt escalates and foreign governments reduce their treasury holdings. I've related this to Ripple. I think is going to become one of the largest companies in the world, and that's going to be largely on the back end of XRP and its involvement with their real USD, etc., etc. We're not here to talk about that. The stable coins or Tether is the largest stablecoin. It sits at $139 billion in terms of market capitalization. Now, we've looked at this zealously, and this has been going up since March. Of course, Bitcoin has been doing the opposite. Stablecoins go up in a bear market, down in a bull market, or up in times of, because they're kind of like a flight to safety, up in times of, stablecoins go up in times of sort of crypto weakness. And you can see the inverse correlation here. And actually, we have a technical pattern that sees USDT dominance get to 1.35%. Now, the interesting thing there is, if USDT dominance commands a 139, let's say it doesn't grow, which it's very likely to do so, and I'll show you the kind of growth trajectory right now of USDT DOM. This is it. Let's take it off log. You know, we're talking in weeks, or last month, I think they printed something like $13 billion. So if USDT's market cap stays where it is today, at $139 billion, and it commands 1.3% of the overall cryptocurrency space, that means there is still 98.7% of the crypto space out there, which equates to around about $13 trillion. Now, that is interesting. And we believe very much, based on a lot of the other technical work that we've done, that certainly Bitcoin is going to be heading, if it gets to 306, to that $6 trillion mark. We think Bitcoin dominance is going to roll to around about 40%, which means the rest of the altcoin sector is likely going to be worth significant. If Bitcoin gets to $309,000, the rest of the altcoin sector is likely going to be worth, what are we talking? 7-8 trillion, something like that. And that's getting you close to that 13. And actually, when we look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, this is beautifully broken out of that bull flag that we were looking at. And you're certainly, in my opinion, on your way to the sort of 6.9 or 6.1 trillion mark on total cryptocurrency market cap. Total 2, everything excluding Bitcoin, likely going to 3.7. And you can sort of divide these by or minus these off of one another. Total 3, which made its bull flag target, or at least its short-term bull flag target. There is a broader one. It's now reached that $1 trillion mark. So we're calling for a doubling in market cap, and we've now seen that. Others, obviously, very much starting to progress to the sort of 1 trillion mark, and we were looking at this in the 2s. It's now nearly doubled, and then ETPs and everything like that looking ready to rock and roll. So I just wanted to share that because I think there's a very interesting insight that we can derive from Tether's current market capitalization, a technical projection based on a pattern that we have for it, and what that would mean for the broader cryptocurrency space. And I think that is the real beauty and uniqueness of this channel, is we have an insight into the markets like no other, because we're technical analysts and we pride ourselves in that. And you can do these really interesting things like working out, okay, Bitcoin dominance gets to 40%, which is where we think it's going, or in and around that region. We think in the broader trajectory, with the kind of realization that there's a far broader application of distributed ledgers, essentially Bitcoin could go significantly lower than that in terms of dominance. I think you're looking at a quarter of the space could end up just in Bitcoin, which is still a great deal when we're talking many trillions. But okay, well, if Bitcoin then gets to 150k, what's the market cap? So that means the rest of the market cap is going to be worth this much, or the rest of the space is going to be worth this much. If it gets to 309, that's about $6 trillion. Okay, that means the rest of the space is going to be worth this much. And then when we look at USDT DOM, and we understand that its market cap today currently sits at 139 billion, and we think it's going down to 1.3%, well, then you have a market cap of the rest of the industry in the 13 trillions. And that's very, very interesting. And it aligns with all the other technical analysis that we've done. Let's go into some news. US President-elect Donald Trump's World Liberty Finance has spent $12 million on ETH, Aave, and Link in the past 10 hours alone. Overwhelmingly $10 million in ETH, Aave 1 million, and then Link 1 million also. Link doing very well. Link's one of my largest holdings. It's a project that's always done well for me. I had my brother send me a picture of me buying Link at around about the $1 range. I'll post that on social media because people don't believe me when I say this sort of stuff. It's a coin that did unbelievably well for me in the last bull market, and we were up from $1. But this is a great chart. This is very compliant in regards to what I teach relating to how markets move, and we've now seen that continuation. Falling wedge break, also the sort of phase 1 into 2 continuation. So chaining, Aave, I'll probably do a video later on all of these, looking at them in sort of more detail if I have the time. But Link is also, or Ethereum also very much on that broader trajectory, and fundamentals will always drive things, but technically will always be early to the party based on it. So this is very interesting. This is all over the place. Obviously, these are the picks. The one coin that I probably haven't looked at, but I might save this for my video later on today, is Aave. Yeah, phase 1 base, breakout into phase 2, continuation. Very interesting indeed. So this is all over the place. Good news. We're going to see more of this. You've got to think in the year that's coming up, with everything that's already happened, the fundamental drivers for this market are going to be fierce. We're going to see the adoption of it, essentially, the space as a whole, and there's going to be many winners that come out of that, and there's going to be multiple, in my opinion, $1 trillion layer 1 cryptocurrencies that you guys get to invest in. Will Ethereum remain on that number 2 spot by the time this bull market is over? I'm not convinced, and I actually think Ethereum, in my opinion, is ripe for the picking. In regards to it losing that number 2 spot. And I think people just invest in Ethereum because it's kind of a household name at this point, not because it's superior in really any way, shape or form. And that's my honest opinion on it, not to hate on any Ethereum people. And obviously the last little bit of news we looked at, which is, of course, not the US going with stablecoins like we've always said, but actually Microsoft voting against holding Bitcoin on their treasury, which I think was an obvious outcome. Very low participation in that. Too much of a risk. They don't really need to do it. Does that mean they're never going to do it? Well, we'll see. But for now, it means certainly not. But we've got an epic year ahead of us We're going to get some Christmas specials in, I think. Maybe do a bit of a marathon stream or something where we have multiple guests come on, just going into the new year and giving us their forecasts for 2025. So do become a subscriber and watch out for that. I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. Very interesting. I did this with my Patreons yesterday. If you're not considering becoming a Patreon, now is the perfect time. We're going to be looking at, we're very well positioned in the space. We've done very well thus far. We're going to be looking at new positions to take to actually maximize the environment that we're in and what you're going to hold, cash or crypto. For me, it's very much crypto is the answer. But yeah, now's a great time to join. Do check out the Patreon. We looked at USDT dominance in the Patreon yesterday. I wanted to share it with you guys because actually I thought, do you know what? There's something very interesting in stablecoin dominance, the market cap of the stablecoins, and if the overall market or the overall dominance of this stablecoin with 140 billion is 1.3%, well, there's 98.7% that's still out there. And if you times 130 or 140 by obviously 98%, then you're going to get the overall market cap, which sits you around about $13 trillion. Very interesting, bright future ahead of us, guys. That's it from me. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Have a wonderful Thursday. See you soon.